Good afternoon, guys. This is Meg at Chasing Retro, and I have a collective haul for you today to show you what I have found thrifting this past week or so. And I think everything came from thrift stores. And then at the end, I'll show you the items that I picked up at Hobby Lobby this week to be used in the Heidi journals and the Christmas journals that I'll be working on next. All right. I have everything kind of scattered around me, so bear with me as I figure out what is where. The first thing that I found at a thrift store was a Ziploc bag with these still had tags on them. They've been washed now, but I found 2 towels, terry cloth Christmas plaid, I guess, with the cross stitch squares. And you may or may not know this about me. I really do love to cross stitch. I love to embroider of all kinds. But for me, cross stitching is something that is a little bit easier to do when I'm just, watching TV or just relaxing, because I don't have to pay as much attention to my stitches as I do with other types of embroidery. And I don't even know if I'm going to get to this before Christmas or not, but I thought it would be fun to have these to put. They're fingertip towels, so they would go in the bathrooms just as a little pop of Christmas color. If I don't stitch something on them, I might still put them in there just as a little color. I kind of wish this one was a little bit brighter green, but I do like the hunter green with the gold. It's very pretty. All right, so those, and also in that bag was some DMC floss, including some gold DMC floss on a spool. So that was, honestly, that was worth the whole bag just for that. In another bag, well, loosely I should say, but I did find this. I had just said, this happens to me a lot. I had just said last week that I never find stamp pads. Well, I didn't find this at my craft reuse store. I found this at my local thrift shop, and it appears unused. They also had dark green, but I really needed a good red, so I really hope that it works. I haven't tested it yet. At the same thrift shop, in another bag, so the first thing I saw was this, and you guys might have seen that I posted a community post yesterday, sort of like asking y'all's advice about what to do, because now that I am a excited new owner of a Sizzix Big Shot, I'm still trying to learn about it and figure out how to use it and how to use it in as many ways as possible. Like, I want to use it to its full capacity, and I have embossing folders in my stash, and now I have a very small selection of dies in my stash, which I'm very excited about. I've been playing around with those. But I had not seen these. Honestly, when I saw them, I thought they were embossing folders because it was in a bag and I didn't really pay too much attention. But it says Sizzix Stampin' Up, and then it's got a little a signature that says Sherry with an I and a little heart. And so I didn't know what these were. Turns out these are about 15 years old. I did a little bit of research on them. The little bit of info that I found about them was that they came out about the time the electric powered Big Shot came out, which, as far as I understand, did not go over very well. And people, the only one I've seen now is the manual one, but it came out about the same time, and it came with certain Big Shots would come with a 2 more extra accessories called a silicone rubber mat and an impressions pad. Well, I have neither of those. And so before I invested in one, ordered it from Amazon, which was the cheapest price that I saw, I was like, what else can I do if I were to get those? I don't want to just buy those 2 items because they're like $17 together for these 3 plates. So I started reading up on it, and turns out you can use both of those tools to create embossed papers with your dies and with your thinlits, I guess I should say. Instead of punching all the way through the paper, it sort of just leaves an impression. And it wouldn't work if it's just a haphazardly scattered die that you know, has all different shapes on it. But if it's a die that is like pretty, like, you know, it's supposed to be one piece when you cut it out and put it on a card or whatever, then it will be a really pretty impression. So I don't know. Jury's still out. I don't know if I'm going to invest in it or not. It's in my Amazon cart. I'm just kind of letting it hang out there for a while I decide. But I tried every other thing that I had in my arsenal to try to get these to print. I even had like some cutting boards that I thought would work, but I guess they're not as squishy as silicone. Craft foam obviously won't work because it compresses too much. And I don't really have any other silicone mats in my house other than a mouse pad, and it was too wide, and I really don't want to cut it. So we'll see what I do with this. But the reason I like these is because there's 3 plates, but there's 6 designs because they're dual-sided. This is eyelet, which is really cute. And then here's a damask and a flourish, like a vine. And then 2 sizes of polka dots. We'll see. I'll let you know if I decide to invest in that or not. Also in that same bag were some things that I know I can use. Actual embossing folders, but they're the small ones. The borders, I guess you would call them. Look at this. Adorable little sewing buttons. And then this is a wavy line, and here's a zigzag. And then little tiny cuddle bug. I guess you would just put these on the corner of a card, maybe. Or maybe even on an envelope flap or something. I've got 4 of those. And then I have a large chevron that is sort of dotted. I've never seen orange ones, have y'all? Very interesting. Let me put my glasses on. My eyes are struggling today. This is like a Moroccan trellis kind of design. There's a lot of glare today, so I'm having to... And then this one I really like. I think this will be cute for the Christmas journals because it kind of looks like holly berries. It'll be precious. Also for the Heidi journals, I'll be using this one. The Heidi journals will have a lot of floral items in them, a lot of birds, because birds are mentioned frequently. I have sort of relinquished myself to the fact that I will not be able to use a lot of goats in my imagery because goats is just something you don't really see very often to fussy cut. But I do have a lot of flowers and birds. Now, I do have a lot of Heidi images that I'll be using, thankfully, because I've been collecting books about Heidi for like 3 years, so I'll be able to use a lot of actual book images. In that same bag was this bag of iron-on letters, like the kind that you would see like on, I don't know why I always think about gym uniforms with these, like school. When I was going to high school, we still had gym uniforms. I think we were one of the last classes to have to buy that, and we'd have to put our name on our shirt with letters like this. They're kind of cool. And then the reason why I think the person who donated these had one of those silicone mats and impressions pads was because these were in there as well. And I did find one YouTube video where someone had used plastic stencils. You lay them down on top of your paper and then run it through with the impressions pad and silicone, and it creates an impression of this. So I was like, you know what? It doesn't look like these have been used with paint. That's probably what that person used them for. I have some leaves, and then I have some butterflies. I actually have this stencil already, but I can just redonate it. My mom bought this when my daughter was born and made a little sign for her room, and she gave it to me after she was done, which was a long time ago now. Okay. Lo and behold, I did find some fabric at the thrift store, which I don't very often, and it's Christmassy calico, and I'll be using this in the Christmas journals. And it is Springs Industries. I'm assuming that's like the sheets. I know they also made fabrics back then. Really cute. There is a stain. I washed it already, and the stain faded but didn't come out. It's like a, you can barely see it. It's almost like a it's not a stain, it's a fade. It's like it was stored next to a very dark blue or purple piece of material. You can kind of see the haze of it. But that is on the edge, and it's very easily able to be cut off. I also found these. Way more than I need, but you know, I'll keep them for other future Christmas journals. 2008 Masterpiece Studios. But it's, I mean, it looks like a, you know, the little paper cutouts that you would find, like a Christmas seal is what I'm trying to say, from the 30s or 40s. And I thought they were really pretty. So I'll be folding these and turning these into pocket pages for the Christmas journals that I do. And then I found these two adorable, look at this adorable gift wrap, Christmas teddy bears. I don't know, I've just been on a teddy bear kick lately, and I feel like they keep finding me when I'm shopping. He looks like a little Paddington to me, like a green corduroy, not Paddington, corduroy, little overalls, and she's got a little bow. I just thought this was so cute, and it would be adorable in the Christmas journals. And then this is just very large Merry Christmas. And these are not super vintage. The packaging looked like the mid-90s maybe, but I'll be able to hopefully have enough to use in the journals. And also, I really like wrapping our Christmas gifts with vintage gift wrap if it's not too obscure and, you know, hard to find. I really like doing that. Not with every present, but just a few as a statement piece. Let me see what else. Oh yeah, before I get to, no, let's do Hobby Lobby last. Let's stay on the thrifting spectrum for now. These are things that I found at my craft reuse store last week when I was volunteering. I mainly volunteered in the section of quilting fabrics because they were the most low on the retail floor in that area. And I really like doing that because, for one thing, they're much smaller pieces of fabric to work with. So you don't have to fold gigantic lengths, like 9-10 yards of fabric. So I feel like I process through more fabric when I do the smaller pieces. So I did a lot of fat quarters and a lot of quarter yards and a lot of half yards and a few 1 yard pieces. But there were several bags of scraps that were donated, so I went through those, and it's just fun to see the types of scraps that people have in their scrap bags. Some of the stuff is like, where did you find this? But I did find this cute little, I don't know if you'd call this a placemat or a doily. There was only one, and it's just not really vintage, maybe 80s or 90s fabric with a rickrack border. I thought it was really cute. They've hemmed it first, and then they sewed rickrack down. So I got that for the Christmas journals. Sorry about my sniffly nose. I am completely over the head cold that I had, but these sniffles remain. Like everyone that my daughter has come in contact with at school who has had this said the sniffles lasted for like a month. I don't know what it is, but it's starting to get old. This was, you guys might remember this from Hobby Lobby. It was marked down to clearance. I bought a segment of it to use in one journal, a personal journal I was making. But I didn't want to pay more than that, so I just bought 1 yard. Well, I found this, I guess it was maybe a remnant piece that someone bought and decided they didn't want, and it was only $1 for all this. So I grabbed that. Like I have more room to store pom-pom trim, but I also found this really fun trim. So I'm building up my stash of trims like this that I can use to embellish clothing. I really want to start embellishing more of my shirts and my jeans and, you know, fun stuff like that. And I just thought this olive green, it's probably not that vintage, but to me it looks very 70s. Sometimes you can tell, but with this one I don't think it is vintage. but I loved it. It's sort of variegated. It's not all one color in the tassel. And then I found this trim. I love this carpet fringe trim so much. I just can't get enough of it. And I had never seen it in a blush pink. So I grabbed it. My daughter was like, ooh, trying to think of things she can add for her clothing. There's a little bit of a stain right there, but I just love it. I think it's cute, a cute color. It's like a peachy pink. And then this is not vintage. This is simplicity. I bet somebody went to Joann's when they were closing and just cleaned out and then realized, why did I buy all this stuff? But this is some more like the macrame type tassel, which I love to put on the edges of sleeves on shirts, or the edges of a jean pocket or something. And journals, of course. All of these will be used in journals as well. Okay, so I went there looking last week for a very small wreath. So long story short, my mom gave me not miniature, it's probably 2 feet high, miniature screen door that is so precious. And I have it propped up on an old desk that's on my front porch that I have sort of a fall display on. And the door is kind of plain, so I was like, I need like a wreath to hang on the door. Well, I couldn't find a mini wreath. I was hoping for a small grapevine wreath. They didn't have any, but I did find this. And I can use this to make a wreath and then use the rest of it for something like Christmas. But it's just that you guys have seen this before. It's the boxwood wire garland. And I have some little teeny tiny foam pumpkins that I found at Dollar Tree last year. And so I thought I might hot glue a pumpkin to the wreath and have that on the screen door. I thought that would be really cute. As usual, I picked up a few, as I was going through the quilting scraps, I did end up grabbing a few to take home. This one is 1/4 of a yard plus some extras. When I say that, like, it was enough to call 1/4 of a yard, but then it had a bunch of little dangly pieces where people had cut out shapes from it, you know. So when that happens, my craft reuse store typically doesn't cut those off. They just kind of wrap it up and you kind of get it as free fabric. So you can use those for clusters or things like that. And I don't know if this is vintage. The thinness of it makes me think that it might be, but then again, I know so many reproduction fabrics it's really hard to tell them apart from actual fabrics from the 70s and 80s or even 60s. And this one I couldn't tell, but I just loved it. I thought it would be really cute for spring. And this is not old at all, but it was leftovers of someone's quilting projects. Someone had donated this in every color, like 5 or 6 colors. It's the terrazzo looking design. And I already had some light pink in my stash, but this was a beautiful jade green, and they also had a red and an orange, and I think a royal blue, but I only got the green one. And I thought maybe, because it looks kind of retro and it's green, I was like, I might use some of this in my Christmas journals. It just looks like something, it looks like, you know, the vintage pottery that would have been made into a Christmas tree shaped dish or something. So that was really fun to find. And it's a relatively big piece. It's not, we couldn't price it as a yardage because the selvage was missing on one side. So it was technically a scrap, but there's plenty of fabric here to do something with. And then this is not Christmas, but I will probably use it with the Christmas and Heidi journals because it's just a really cute red calico with little white flowers. And of course, y'all know I cannot pass up. It's hard to pass up gingham, especially it's hard for me to pass up anything flocked. And this was Vintage gingham that has yellow flocked flowers. How cute is that? It's probably 1/4 of a yard, but it's cut weird, so I just love that. And the last one is this, and again, I don't know that this is vintage. I think it might be. But then again, some of these newer companies make things like this. I love this style of flower or art. I don't know what you would call it. It reminds me of the way some of the Whitman's Telltales were illustrated, the way they draw flowers and trees. But you guys tell me if you think this is vintage or not. I mean, the weave makes me think maybe, but I don't know. But I just thought it was so pretty. It would be pretty for spring, yes, but the olive greens also make me think kind of fall. And the last thing that I found at the reuse store is not for journaling by any means. I'm making sure there's nothing else in this bag. This is a home decor piece, and occasionally they'll get stuff like that donated, and they always price it very reasonably. This is a very mid-century modern framed art piece. It's like, I really like the way it's done. It's like the faux wood grain. Normally I would immediately repaint a frame, but I will not be repainting this one. This one is beautiful. It's in great shape. It's not scratched. And honestly, I feel like that would detract from the look of this bottle here because there is faux wood grain in these. This will remain as is. And I love the gold. On the back, it gives a little bit of, obviously this paper has seen better days, but Turner wall accessory. I haven't researched this piece to see, like, is there any, was it like a set? A duo or a set of 3? But I just thought it was really cute. And I will find a place for this, even if I have to rotate out some art. I really think it's awesome. So the last thing I'll show you is the items that I found at Hobby Lobby. It's probably not good that I went in there, but I had to go in there. I didn't have to. I wanted to go in there because I wanted some fall fairy lights, you know, the kind with the little plastic acrylic shapes that they put on the light bulbs for my 3-tier tray, and I found some really cute. But while I was in there, I was like, you know what? The paper is on sale this week. Let me just see if there's anything I can use for the Heidi journals, because I've been struggling with these Heidi journals. I think I'm gonna have to do away with the hope and dream of doing the whole, all of the pages with a red, yellow, and blue motif. I just cannot find red, yellow, and blue scrapbook paper that is the right color and the right theme. So these, I'm gonna have to branch off into probably more blues and greens and some yellows, but as you guys know, yellow paper is hard to find too. But I have found plenty of blue floral and greenery and green floral. So there will be a lot of blue and green in these, and I'll show you what I mean in a minute. But first of all, for the Christmas journals, look at these 3D present stickers. They're very mid-century looking, and I plan to have some pink brought into these Christmas journals. So this was really cute that I found the pink and the turquoise in their package. And I bought 1 Christmas paper pad. I really wish Hobby Lobby would do more Christmas paper pads in 12 by 12. They only had 1, and it was not with the others. It was on the regular paper pad aisle. On the Christmas display in the center of the aisle, they only had 8.5 by 11 and 6 by 6. So Hobby Lobby, if you're listening to me, I would love some of these pads that I saw there, including the one in my hand. I would love them as a 12 by 12 also for future years. This one was obviously the most popular one in that stack because all of them were pretty much well stocked except for this one, and there was only 2 left, and I got 1 of them. And maybe it's because it's kind of unlike anything they've done in the past couple years. I feel like the past couple years has been mainly dark red, dark green, and black, and a lot of rustic looking Christmas. This one is very, I wouldn't say mid-century because it's still very traditional, but it just went with the feel of what I was hoping to go for this year in the Christmas journals. We have this little scene. There's a lot going on here. Little ski lift. So cute. And then there's 4 pages of each design, which is really nice. This is beautiful. This is definitely going to fit the theme of the Christmas journals this year. And then we have some birds. Winter birds. There's my favorite. Some holly with some starburst. Sparkly starburst with a mint background. I do like it when they do the words. And this is honestly a mixture of secular and religious, because this is from Joy to the World, and this is obviously Santa, so pretty neat. Some light blue, sort of ice blue with snowflakes. This is amazing. I love this style of art. And they're not dark red. They're kind of pinky. A winter forest with some decorated Christmas trees in it. That's pretty cute. Some pink candy canes with eucalyptus and pine and holly. This one's okay. I do like the tiny print, but you guys know how I feel about red trucks. I think I'm the only person in America that doesn't like them. I just don't. But it's cute. I mean, it's not retro, but it's cute. Some plaid. Looks like kitchen wallpaper. Pink and red bows. Some wreaths with birds. Mistletoe. This one is like an olive green with pink, which is interesting. This one's really fun. I like this one a lot. Lots to look at. That was the last one. Okay, so that's all the Christmas. Let me show you. I did end up getting 3 paper pads to use for the Heidi journals and also just future journals. And I've been wanting this one for a while, so I was excited to have a reason to get it. This one is called Spring Walk, and I think it did come out this spring. But look at this. Is that not so amazing? So retro. And I love this. I love the daisies that have missing petals. I just think they're very unique. And then this is like a cream with the gold, which this would be pretty in the Heidi journals, honestly. Not as big of a fan of this one, but I will be able to use it somewhere. I'm going to move this down just a little so you can see the edge, because, you know, sometimes they'll make the edges different, like the one I just showed you. It's got the color. This is nice. This is probably my favorite in the pack. Love this. Pretty. Really cute. This is very risograph looking. So I'm currently obsessed with risograph printing. If I had the money and the space, I would buy a risograph copier and bring it over from Japan if I could. I love it. This is really pretty. I like this one better than the other one, but it's still, you know, it's still kind of modern looking. Animal print, which I very, very rarely use, if ever, but occasionally I might have need for it. Another retro one. This one looks like vintage sheets to me. Same daisies in a light green. The same poppies in a much smaller print with dark background, which is amazing. This will be amazing for the Heidi journals. I like this one of those three the best because it's more going on. This is adorable too. That looks like a Golden Girls journal. And navy daisies. So that's Spring Walk, if you haven't seen this yet. All right, next is Melody. Well, no, let me show you that one last. Oh no, they're stuck together. You know how it is when you take off the stickers? They stick. This one I saw other people haul and really, really wanted it, but that didn't really have a need for it yet. But now that I'm doing the Heidi journals, I can use this. Beautiful. That looks like wallpaper. See, this kind of stuff, excuse me, this is very primary colored. So I'll be able to use this in the Heidi journals, and it kind of goes along with the, you know, this looks very Austrian type painting of pottery. Maybe things that she would have eaten off of when she lived with Clara's family. This is a beautiful salmon with blue and white. This is really pretty. It looks very summery. The same thing kind of as the first, but much busier. This is interesting. I feel like it needs a little more contrast, but then again, if it's too much contrast, you can't use the page for anything other than just putting a picture on or something. A lovely rose color, almost like a mauve. Blue paisley. Lemons. This is very Mediterranean, so probably won't use these for Heidi, but really cute though. This is beautiful. This looks very Greek to me. Another like Mediterranean tile. This is pretty. I'll probably use this for Heidi as well. Very pretty. I think I'm gonna have to forego my desire to use all red and bring in some pinks, and that's okay. A lot of the covers, like this one, Heidi is standing amid some pink flowers, so pink will have its place in these. More lemons. I think I would have liked it better with just the pictures and not lemons, but that's just me. That's pretty. The classic yellow, blue, and white. This is more French. I guess this whole thing is a French provincial feel, maybe edging into Mediterranean, but I will be able to use some of these for this journal for sure. This series, rather. And some toile without people in it, which is kind of refreshing because I feel like if there's people in the toile, it kind of limits you on how you can use it. Some more tile. That's it. And the last one is called Melody and Moss, and it is mainly green. And it's very lovely. This one's just so cozy. I love this paper pad. We have some birds and trees, so this will be very useful for Heidi. Very soft watercolor flowers. Adorable little lilac bunches. This is amazing. This is one of the reasons I got this paper pad. I love this. I love green, and my favorite green is a rich, grassy Kelly. I guess Kelly. I don't want any hints of pine or lime in my greens. I like olive, and I like the rich grass green, and that's pretty much. I mean, I'll do dark green, especially paired with gold, but you can keep your lime green. It is my least favorite color in the whole world. This is really nice. It's like a negative image. This is amazing, and this will be great in the Heidi journals. Or the botanical journals. Now that I'm thinking of it, these look like little botanical snips. This one too. I guess this will serve two purposes. I can use this in the botanical as well. Yes. Lovely. That looks like wallpaper. This is so amazing. This is the most beautiful green. And this is like a walkway. There's bridges and very pretty. Very light lavender dots. This is interesting. I like this too. Another vivid green with mushrooms. This is amazing right here. They're daffodils, but they've been tinted purple. This is really fun. This is probably my favorite type of print, a very small, ditzy, packed together floral. Oh, we have some maidenhair ferns. Very pretty. I'm very glad I got these. You always kind of wonder when you splurge on something like paper pads. I really hope these just don't sit on my shelf for the next year and a half. This looks bridal to me, like bouquets or something with a white background. Very pretty. Okay, so that was the Hobby Lobby haul. The last thing is I'm going to choose a winner for the Botanical Flower Press giveaway. The contest closed last night. Let me get the dish that I have everyone's name in. I'll be right back. Okay, I have everyone's name in here, and I forgot to mention in my video that the contest was only open to US mailing addresses, just for cost's sake. But I did go back and add it in the language in the description box. So if I do grab someone's name who's not in the US, I'm gonna need to redraw. I know one person has said in their comment they are not in the US, but if I choose their name, to choose the next person instead, pass it forward, I guess. So I will do that if I choose that person's name. But once I draw your name, if you could, by this Wednesday at noon Eastern, please email me with your US mailing address. And my email address is in the description box, and I will get this prize right out to you. Oops, I'm throwing them everywhere. This cut glass dish belonged to my grandma, so since so many of your lovely comments about your memories of flowers involved your grandparents, I thought this was a fitting dish to use to choose the winner. All right. I'm going to close my eyes and grab one. Beth CZ3289. And I don't know your name. I'm assuming it's Beth, but this is the YouTube username in my comment bank. So Beth, if you are seeing this, please email me your mailing address, US mailing address, and I'll get this flower press right out to you. Guys, thank you for joining in and sharing your wonderful memories in the contest. I enjoyed so much reading through them. There were some very, very, very sweet stories. So it's very obvious that so many of you have ties of love for your grandparents or parents or siblings or spouse with flowers, trees, and shrubs, and I think that's amazing. So yes, Beth, email me please, and I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day. See you soon.